Hey guys, how's it going? I think it's been a while since I last recorded in this room. I think it's been like, what, 5 months now? But your boy is finally back in Dhaka, Bangladesh, and this time it is for good because yours truly just finished his undergrad. And oh my god, guys, this is something that I still cannot very much believe. And yeah, it's really surreal in a lot of ways seeing how time flew by so fast, but that's not what this video is about. This video is pretty much me following my tradition of sorts, where I pretty much just sit down and talk to you guys about how this year went, and pretty much just give my thoughts on everything that transpired. Pretty much, this is pretty much from me to you, no scripts involved, and yeah, I apologize if this is kinda horribly organized, if that's how I properly say it. And at the same time, if this isn't something that you all are that some of you guys aren't looking for, but rest assured, I got you covered from the days moving forward, because now that I am where I am right now, and I got my, the stuff that I need to set up, that things are finally gonna change right now. That much I can assure you. But yeah, with that being said, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Steve Gunner, bringing you all the 2019 year review for yours truly. This year has been honestly just wild in a lot of ways, really. Like, if you told me last year or like 2 years back that I'd be able to accomplish everything that I was able to do this year, I'd be calling your ass crazy, because none of this is something, because all these things were something that just seemed so far away last year. And yeah, it's crazy to see so many things happen. But yeah, to anybody that doesn't know, I have been pretty much on a dead end of sorts throughout these 4 years that I've been doing this, because like, yeah, I started my channel back in like June, or was it July? Yeah, July 2015. I was already at a disadvantage in the sense that I've started doing Pokemon YouTube content, especially as someone that is from Bangladesh, because to my knowledge, there really isn't anybody that I know or have like seen throughout these years that happen to do what I do, and happen to be Bangladeshi at the same time. More so in the sense that like they were born and raised here. And it's pretty understandable, because the idea of finding like a good microphone or like decent equipment to do these things, like unless you're a musician of sorts, it's very hard to come by, and these sort of products are like a luxury, which is why like stuff like this ends up being pretty much expensive. And yeah, like again, English isn't our first language, and sorry about that, but like, yeah, that was my dad. But yeah, English isn't our first language, and as a result, it's pretty hard to, do this sort of thing and not feel intimidated, because yeah, again, there's really nobody else that you can look to and think like, oh, this guy was able to do that, maybe there is a chance for me. And that's something that I've pretty much been feeling throughout these 4 years. And even though, like, I wouldn't necessarily say these, last 3 years I wasn't able to do anything, because that would be a bold-faced lie. Because yeah, I got, I was able to pretty much, get to know guys like Dan aka Drive, work with GBA, work with the GBA as an analyst, even though I was at like pretty much my most immature phase during then, and pretty much just do my own draft battling of sorts, and see what other people were up to. But in the grand scheme of things, I wasn't necessarily in the best phase, if that makes any sense. And it's like further worsened by the fact that I would never really be the most consistent Pokemon YouTuber out there. Like, I've to this date, even though I've been doing this for 4 years, I haven't been able to do like daily uploads of sorts for at least a minimum, even a week, or even like 3 days in general, which just goes to show how lacking my consistency can be, which is definitely on me. But yeah, like in 2017, when I first flew to Sydney, Australia for my undergrad, my channel was pretty much at a dead end, in the sense that I wouldn't necessarily be able to make content that appealed to others, in the sense that like I wouldn't necessarily know how to make really well edited videos, or like present content that others don't make, and because of that I was at a dead end. But like, yeah, all of that changed when I finally decided that, you know what, I'm gonna try out reviewing Pokemon ROM hacks and fan games because that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been playing for like throughout the last 7 years, and I'm really passionate about it. And let's see how it goes. And surprisingly, that did work out really well. You know, people really liked what I was able to bring out. You guys ended up liking, you know, like what I was able to bring out, and my channel was starting to finally gain traction again. But then I stopped being consistent because I put all that effort into a different organization, thinking that they would be able to recognize my efforts and give me the opportunities that I seeked, which unfortunately didn't end up being the case, but that's irrelevant. And throughout the end of last year, like, even though I would go around saying that, oh, this is gonna be different right now, oh, I'm gonna finally change and make an impact, I'm gonna try to be more consistent and make a mark in this community, all of that stuff, it was all a pipe dream, really, because throughout the back of my mind, I was constantly reeling from the fact that even despite all the effort I put in, I wasn't able to get what I want, which, honestly speaking, was really demoralizing in a lot of ways. But, like, yeah, that's something that I very much couldn't move past, and and overall, like, my whole psyche just took a massive blow, because I was like, throughout the end of 2017, I was like, okay, if I start putting in more effort than others, finally people would start noticing. Finally people will start investing in me, and I will be able to accomplish what I want in the end. That's the answer that I've been seeking. But when that didn't end up being the case, I didn't know what to do, really. And even as this year began, I was pretty much at a loss, really. And I didn't know what to do. But what I didn't realize during then was that even despite the lessons that I learned in the fall of 2017, I was still being naive. I was still being naive in the sense that I would constantly think that, oh, if I were to put all my effort and try to make myself stand out by presenting my work differently from the others, it doesn't matter who sees it. They will see what I have to offer, and they will invest in me. And unfortunately, that didn't end up being the case. And as a result, I really didn't know what to think anymore. But, like, yeah, even as this year began, I didn't know what to do. I said that, oh, okay, things are gonna finally be different now, but in the back of my mind, I was like, what's the point? It's not gonna happen, you know? But all of that changed, though, in February 21st. Eco February? Nah. Quite important. No, sorry. Why am I even using my language? Sorry. I meant that, like, it happened in the middle, at the fall of February, or a few days, or, like, before the 20s. I'm not necessarily too sure, but I saw a certain person on Twitter conversing with someone about how he wishes he had an editor, and that person is none other than Wolfie Glick, the 2016 Pokemon World Champion that I've been pretty much watching since his channel started gaining traction during that year, and when he competed in the WBE's first season, as well as the GBA after that. And honestly speaking, like, Wolfie is someone that, this is something that I can't necessarily explain rationally, but when I first, got to see him, as well as, interact him a few times, I always had this feeling in my gut or in the back of my head that he would be someone that I would get along with very well. Because, like, his sense of humor, his personality, everything, it kind of matches mine in a lot of ways in terms of his humor and all of that stuff. And I figured that if I were to work with him in the future in any shape or fashion, I think, like, we would make a really good team. So when I saw him make that tweet, I don't know what came over me. I pretty much just followed my gut and immediately DM'd him then and there, saying that, hey man, I heard that you were looking for an editor. Here's what I have to offer. And yeah, if you want to work with me, then let's see how it goes, alright? And thankfully, he really liked what I had to offer. And just like that, everything changed, you know? And it's honestly crazy in a lot of ways, because, so again, something like this was something that last year or 2 years ago very much seemed like a pipe dream to me. But the moment he said yes, and I started, editing videos for him, everything just from there, one opportunity opened after another. Again, because because I like to think like my personality matches his in a lot of ways. I had so much fun, and I still do have so much fun editing videos for him, and am able to, like add my own jokes in the middle, which, people were able to enjoy. And from there, things just took such a drastic turn that because for the first time in my life, I'm getting paid for what I like to do. And it's not just that either. Like, I'm also working with someone who is someone that I like very much respect in a lot of ways, and the fact that I can now consider myself as his editor as well as his friend is surreal in a lot of ways, really. But yeah, like, things started very, very much changing from there, and from there, like, the WBE season 3 was about to happen, and when Dan was asking, if anybody was interested in being an analyst, I openly voiced my interest from the get-go. And from there, everything just flew by, really. Like, it goes without saying that I wouldn't be where I am right now without, like, Wolfie saying yes and me getting to work with him. And for that, like, I very much consider myself lucky to have him as someone that I work with, So because, like, yeah, from there I started working in the WBE as an analyst, and for the first time I got paid. And it wasn't necessarily just me being an analyst. I wanted to be a more active part of the league, so I was there to, pitch ideas to Dan whenever we were planning about how we were gonna make this the biggest season possible. And, like, from one thing led to another, and I, despite not being even experienced enough in this particular sort of role, decided to make the trailer for the WBE. And yeah, like, just through doing this project along with working with Wolf as his editor, I got so much better at my craft, because I realized that if I want to make this work, I need to put in the effort and I need to keep evolving. And yeah, these things turned out to be really good. And then, like, I started working and doing my job, as an analyst for the trainer cards. And before I know it, I started working with Joey PokeAim for, like, making guides on how to, like, play Pokemon Showdown, as well as even make the official trailer for it, which is now on its homepage. It's like, now that I think about it, like, it's so overwhelming in a lot of ways. And just when things can't get any crazier, somebody drops out in the WBE. And before I know it, I'm the one that was chosen to fill in for them. And just, like, thinking about it is so crazy on so many levels, because this is something that I legitimately wanted since I first started doing YouTubing. Like, one of my main dreams when I first started doing Pokemon YouTubing was competing in a big league and, going against people that I've been looking up to for so many years. And that ended up becoming a reality. And it didn't matter that I was filling in for a team that was like 0-5 with a -20 differential. The fact of the matter is, the support that I got from each and every single one of you that got introduced to me, as well as you guys that have been following me around throughout these 4 years, it has been so surreal in a lot of ways. And at the same time, I cannot say this without, like, giving people credit, but without, my brothers like Zazo, who's been around to pretty much help me build throughout these matches, and help me develop as a player. And at the same time, guys like OP Jealous and Melantosh and some other, and Juice and other reliable people that I would go to for having mocks and all of that stuff. All of you people have overwhelmed me in so many ways that when it was all said and done, I took a team that was 0-5 to playoffs. But yeah, all of this was so overwhelming, and seriously, I cannot thank these guys enough, and like each and every single one of you for having my back and like supporting me throughout this time, because this sort of like positivity, this sort of support and care is something that I will very much remember for a very long time. So yeah, like it's insane in a lot of ways, everything that has happened. And as this year comes to a close, I realize that this is pretty much the year where all of these sorts of dreams that I had when I first started doing this, I have, shukr alhamdulillah, been able to make them all a reality. And none of this would have been possible if it weren't for, guys like Wolfie Glick for choosing me as his editor, for PokeAim, when he chose me to make the trailer and all of that stuff, or Dan when he considered me worthy of, like getting in at the WB as an analyst, getting paid for it, might I add, and then competing in it thanks to Dan. And it made me realize that if there's anything that I was able to learn from this year, it's pretty much the... Sorry about that, there was a mosquito. It was pretty much the fact that you need to know who to invest into. And most importantly, you need to believe in your own worth. Because last year, I would constantly like push myself down and think that, oh man, no, these other guys, they're probably more deserving at it than I am. My effort isn't enough. I wasn't good enough. And because of that, and this is just my personal opinion, I'm not gonna sell it as an actual fact. But from my perspective, I felt like I got taken advantage of, or rather, pretty much just used without being given something proper in return. Like, there was no sense of equivalent exchange, which is very much on me and me alone. And that unfortunately, some people, like, no matter how hard you work, some people will never see your worth. Some people will never, like, believe in your own abilities and will prioritize others over you because it's basic human nature. Like, we are born to be irrational beings, and that's something that will always, like, stay a constant. So, like, yeah, if there's anything that I've learned this year, it's the fact that you need to know who to invest your time into, and at the same time, you need to believe in your own worth, while at the same time keeping a right balance. Because if you, like, have too much overconfidence, you are going to essentially, like, start overestimating your own capabilities and pretty much be delusional, which will only push clients away. So, like, yeah. Overall, now that I look back at everything that's happened this year for this platform specifically, and even my real life in general, because like I finished my undergrad, which is so freaking crazy on so many levels, because these 3 years have been really stressful, but at the same time like really worthwhile because it helped me gain perspective. But like, yeah, getting back to the topic at hand, it's clear to me like what I need to do moving forward, and at the same time, there are still things that I need to work on. Like, despite me personally thinking that I'm not the same person as I used to be anymore, there is still so much I need to work on. Like, for example, I need to stop being much more immature. I need to stop overthinking things, or even, you know, like, take better care of my health, because I don't think if you guys noticed this or not, but I became much more fat, and I need to change that. But we'll get there. Now that I realize the position that I'm in, I know for a fact that I want to keep doing this more, and that I want to continue making content for each and every single one of you that is hopefully engaging and entertaining. And so help me, that is exactly what I intend to do, because I now have a lot of ideas going on in my head, and it doesn't matter what my future, and regardless of what my future holds, whether I'm considered good enough or whatever it is really, I have lots of serious ideas in my head. I still want to do competitive Pokemon battling. I now know how to edit videos better, and at the same time, I'm still working with Wolfie and other people should they need my assistance. So in a way, everything that I've been striving for, Shukr Alhamdulillah, I cannot thank him enough for this, has now become a reality. And I cannot thank him, and I cannot thank you guys enough for all of that. So seriously guys, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. But rest assured, now as we are moving into 2020, I now realize that even though I've been able to accomplish all of this, I am very much aware of the fact that if I were to get complacent, or, you know, to start taking all of this for granted, everything that I've strived for and achieved right now will go away in a blink. It go away just like that. And I have no intention of making that a reality. But yeah, things have finally set themselves up to the ways that I've dreamt of, and now it is my responsibility to make sure it stays that way, and inshallah keeps getting better for the foreseeable future. So yeah, I hope you all are very much excited for 2020, because the Uzi Gunner has a lot of plans for each and every single one. So yeah, with that being said, thank you so much for watching, guys. Seriously, I cannot thank you all enough for the support throughout these years, and to all the new guys that are here, I hope you all continue to find enjoyment in my content for the years to come. And with that being said, I wish you all a happy new year. Here's to each and every single one of us being able to make our ambitions become a reality. Peace!